Evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
so
Sorry,
yeah,
we are a bit late because we had an event that we had to rush, to connect and all that. Yeah. Hi, Sundar. Aman namaste.
hi Lisa. Atma namaste. So
Great.
yeah,
So
for those of you who are waiting, we just apologize for the slight delay, but we're back on now. And really exciting topic today is something that I really, really liked. And Lisa shared a bit of a synopsis as well about what happened to her. And one day she woke up after 2 years, and then she had this profound thinking. So we're gonna go a bit deeper into that. And Lisa, you want to tell us more about how how this happened and how this came about for you?
yeah, actually, it's very interesting because I think this happens to many of us also. Sometimes when we wake up and then you are sitting on the bed and then you just look back in your life, you just ask a few questions. Sometimes, oh, why am I here? Who am I? What am I doing? Is it life is just like we are continuing doing what we are doing, just daily doing the same thing? So one of the questions that came into my mind was, I look back into my life and I look at it and I was seeing myself as a very different person from who I was 2 years ago, totally a different person. So the question is, if many of you, maybe you have this question too. If the night that you sleep that night, the next day when you wake up, are you a different person from yesterday? It's like I wake up, I felt that I was a different person. I was a different person from who I was, the night before I went to sleep. Yeah. So that profound feeling that I had, this kind of how you say it, weird things will happen, sometimes to me when I look at my life and I have a lot of questions. So yeah, if we look at it, for many of us, even including yourself, right, Sundar, if you look at yourself now compared to who you were about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, before pranic healing, when we were young, when we were in school, people know us as, even my schoolmate would know me as who I was when I was in school, in secondary, right? In
Yes,
primary. So when they meet up with us now, then they would look at us like, oh, you're so different now. You have changed since. So what are the changes? Are we still the same person we were when we were in secondary? What do you think, Sundar? What's your take on that?
Yeah. So I think this is like everyone knows the answer to this, right? I think everyone knows that. Of course, you're not the same person, and most likely, we don't even have to go back. Secondary is probably 15, 20 years ago. We don't even have to go back that far, even if I think, like you said, even 2 years ago, for some people, for me, what was a good benchmark was an annual benchmark. I started noticing just, I wasn't tracking it as per se, but I was writing my CV one day. And this was when it came to me because when I first came into pranic healing and I first started applying for jobs in the city again, I had to create a CV, a resume, and I started listing down what did I do from what year to what year, what did I do, and then it came to somewhere in like 2018 where I had officially closed my seafood farm, and then I was going to apply for a part-time job or a full-time job. So I was working on this, and then I was like, oh man, 2017 this happened. 2018 I was actually here. 2019 I was here. I was like, wow, things started to accelerate really fast. In 1 year, so much had happened. Whereas, like, if I looked at my history, I'd be like, oh, I was in this job for like 5 years. I was in a different job for like, a few years. And, so I started to notice that. And I think most people do this too. The very obvious point is, I think beyond the CV, what most people would recognize is when you make that benchmark on your New Year resolutions. You're like, what did I do last year? How can I improve this year? or your
Yeah.
birthday,
Every year we do that in the early of the year, right? The
yeah,
beginning of the year. And then we
right?
make resolution and all that. And then in the middle of the year, there was nothing done on the resolution. We just got defocused
Yeah,
and
but then you always say
all
like,
over
but this
the
year I'm smarter.
place.
Yeah, this year I'm smarter, this year I'm wiser, and this year I'm gonna make a better resolution,
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me also. I think when I was looking back, right, there are many experiences that change us over time, yeah. So we evolve, we improve ourselves, we learn our lesson, and that is where I think many of us, when we look back in our life, there are so many changes that we made throughout our life. Yeah. And for me myself, what really changed me was a book that I read, and that actually shifted my life. Yeah. And if my family were to look at me now, if my relative were to look at me now, Lisa is not a person who is, totally into spirituality, talking about, karma, talking about, things like what is life, what is the purpose of life, and all. Because I look at myself in the early years, I'm basically a simple person. I look at myself as a businesswoman that I would, be a businesswoman in the corporate sector until the day I retire. you know. So this is where I look at my life. This shift that came into my life, where things has improved so much because of a book. So many of our experience also, lead us to us to be a better version of ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this is where I find that sometimes when we look back in
Lisa,
our
Lisa, are
life,
you there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. We just lost you for a little while. Yes. Okay, the connection's back. Yeah.
Okay, I think the line is not very stable, I guess, on my side.
Yeah, but it's okay. We heard most of what you said. The book changed your life,
Yes,
and
the book
yeah,
actually changed my life a lot. And looking back, I'm really grateful for just one book that made my life so meaningful now. Yeah. So
yeah,
I find the peace within myself, there is so many things that I look forward to every day right now. I found my purpose. I remember when I was young, I was looking at these beggars on the street, and I
yeah,
was wondering, how do I help them? How can I help? And there is so many of them. What can I do? So in that, I think because of the book, I found my purpose there. We can help a lot of people with the skills that we learn, with the experiences that we have gone through. The experiences gave us a skill set that we can share. So I think that is really profound.
yeah.
So
one thing that you're saying about yeah, Lisa, your connection is really breaking up. If you could change it, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll
because
do that.
we're losing you a lot. You're going in and out a lot. Yeah.
Right, just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You can continue talking, Sundar. I will try to get my connection connected.
That Lisa was saying as well, which is I think a lot of people would relate to, is that sometimes you never know where the inspiration comes from, and you never know how things might take a turn. Sometimes it's just a small nudge. It might be a book. It might be an advice that a friend gave. It might be just an experience that you witnessed somebody else going through, and you never know how. And she was a younger lady, And before she became into the spiritual path, before she started to help other people and to think about helping other people, she was actually going like, in the rat race, right? Every day getting ready, every day going to work. And one day her profound moment was that she actually saw someone, a senior woman, lying down on a piece of cardboard next to the bus stop, on the side of the road. And she said, wow, what kind of a life is this? And she felt so terrible. She felt so bad. Like there was nothing that she could do. At most, she could like maybe give this lady some bread or, a place to live. But there was really nothing that she could do to absolutely change her life unless she, gave up a portion of her life. So she went to church and she was crying and crying. And she said, God, what can I do? What can I do? I don't want to end up like this woman, and I don't know what to help her as well. And the way I'm going, I might be like that, because and she became a teacher on the spiritual path, started helping people with their problems and things like this. So because of some experience you went through, so for like Liza, it was a book. For the speaker, it was in the previous workshop, it was a lady on the side of the road. Sometimes it's just something a friend says. I remember one time actually I had a friend. Well, I still have this friend. This is a very good friend. And, he was telling me, he always reminds me of this thing, which I had completely forgotten, right? So when we were younger, when we were in college, we were in school, he said that, Sundar, you reminded me of something because he was really all about work, just work, 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 work. And he said, you reminded me about something that even relationships, even friends need, they need nurturing, they need love, they need time, right? You have to put time and effort into nurturing your relationship. And I said, wow, really? Did I say this? But to him, it was one of the most profound things that he had ever had. Like, not because it was for me, but because it was just the right thing at the right time. And then it had completely changed his life. So now he actually plans his life to take time off work and to make time for his family, make time for his friends. So we never really know when this will happen. But what we're talking about is, are you the same person today as you were yesterday, right? And
right.
We don't know.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're here, Liza. We got you now, a lot clearer.
Cool. All right. Yes, please continue, Sundar.
Yeah. So, what we're talking about is that we don't know when this experience will come, but what we do know is that we chip away a little bit every day, right? And it's impossible to say, this one day, this was the day that I became a new person. No, because it's an ongoing process. Every day you're becoming a new person,
Right.
And when you have that mindset, when you say every day it's a new opportunity, every day I'm going to attract success, I'm going to attract abundance, I'm going to attract the right person, the right boss, the right employee, the right, girlfriend number 65 or something like this.
Did you count that? That was in your list? Oh my God, Sundar, 65.
No, not me. Just example.
I know it was a joke.
So,
I'll be amazed.
Yeah, when you set your mind that you never know, it may be a book, it may be a friend, it may be an experience that's going to change you if you leave yourself open to this possibility that every day, today might be the day. Today might be the day, right? And one day it will be the day. And the more you say this, the more grateful you are. Every day might be the day, So, one thing I was reading up as well, when Liza was proposing this topic, I remember something came to my mind at the time. And I said, just on a physical level itself, you don't even have to think about it emotionally. You don't even have to think about psychologically being changed or profound moments in your life. Even physically, without your, with your subconscious awareness, your body, our bodies, every 3 months, red blood cells, they only live for 3 months. After that, new ones get produced. So it's not like now is July and then in October you have a new set of cells. No, it's every day. Every day they're being produced. Every day they're being recycled out, right? So your skin recycles out the old stuff. Your bone marrows produce the new ones, right? Every day. So, but on average, they live for about 3 months. Okay, and that's just the red blood cells. Your tissue cells the same. Your white blood cells the same. Your, your bones, your organs, your muscle cells, your joints, all this. They all renew over time, right? So on the hardest one, I think the one that takes the longest is the bones. The bones take about 10 years to renew. So if you
Oh,
actually
that's
think about it,
interesting.
yeah. So if you actually think about it, if you're in your 30s, you've had like 3 sets of a brand new body. Okay,
Wow.
if you're in your 40s, you've had 4 sets of brand new body, right? So
Wow. I'm like a
yeah,
chameleon changing. Isn't it? I'm in my 40s, so I will have changed like what, four
four
sets?
completely, like complete change 4 times. So
Wow.
it's up to you. Even physically, your body is changing all the time, right? It's really up
Mm,
to us. Is today the day that you want to change your emotions? Today the day you want to change your mindset, right?
yes.
And there's a lot of things to bring in here. There's a lot of things to consider, right? So if your body's changing all the time, one of the big questions is how come you look the same every day? Right? You don't wake up one morning and you go like, "Oh my God, who's that in the mirror?"
I
That
wish,
doesn't
I
happen
wish.
unless you shave the ball.
No, I don't want to shave bald, but I would like to slim down. Yeah, I mean that can be done. Okay, over time that can be done.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's why people take progress photos, right? Because
right.
after a few months, you feel like, "Oh my God, I'm like I fit into one size smaller clothes," and yeah,
Yes. Yeah, that's my motivation. Yeah, this is actually I read this article about an Asian philosopher. He says that no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he is not the same man. Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, his argument is about that, a river is never the same, nor the river bank. Yeah, is consistently changing. So even the person, the man that is stepping into, or the man or the woman that is stepping into the river is also not the same. Yeah. So where this comes to, when I was reading this article, um, it is saying that an action in the past cannot ever be repeated exactly because things always change, right?
Exactly.
So we can't do the same thing as what we did maybe yesterday, even yesterday. We can't repeat
Exactly.
exactly the same thing, right?
You're right. Right.
Yeah. So it's the same. Each time we move on, with our life. There is changes constantly coming. Changes is we are evolving. We are changing all the time. And if we look back, if right now we are at present, correct, and the things that we have done before, if there are things that we have done that is not so wholesome, right? Are we held responsible for what we have done before? Because we already changed, right? We are a better person now.
Good
So
question. Yeah.
yeah, are we held responsible for that action? What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Well, so just now we were slightly, we kind of just skid on the surface of this topic. Like,
Yeah.
how come you look the same every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two parts to this answer. And the second part of the answer will actually answer your question too. The first part of the answer is that because we're not only the physical body, we also have an energy body, an emotional body, a mental body. And
Right.
our emotions govern the shape of the emotional body. Our thoughts govern the shape of the mental body, right? So all these things, when you change the way you think, when you change the way you feel about certain things, there is a etheric counterpart called an energy body that also changes, right? So this is the basis on how pranic healing works. When we heal the energy counterpart, then the physical counterpart also changes, and that's how we're doing healing in pranic healing, right? So similarly, when you say like, does my actions of yesterday, am I still responsible for them today? Because I'm a different person now. right? So the second part to this is that what governs your emotions, what governs your thoughts. Some of these things are, of course, they are your free will. One aspect is your free will. Second aspect is your karma, right? So what is karma? Karma is just a law of cause and effect. It's like saying, it's like going into an empty room or an empty hall, a big empty hall, and then you shout. What's going to happen? You're going to have an echo come back, right? And then, it's not reasonable to say, hey, this echo does not belong to me. No, it does belong to you. It's just that you did it in the past, and it's coming back now. So that's kind of like the law of karma. So what dictates your energy? Yes, you might be a new person, you've changed, but there are certain invisible laws that still govern the shape of the world, right? That's beyond just the physical body, beyond the emotional body. So this law of karma, it's a law, right? This is how the whole universe works. It all works on the law of karma. And, so if we created something today and it was something that was very pleasant, the law of karma says that, hey, you're a good person. This is going to echo back onto you. And if you create something unwholesome, the law of karma also says, hey, you know what? We don't count who's good or bad. We're just going to echo everything back to you.
Right.
So yes, it's not to say that, am I going to be held responsible? But it is the things that you put out will definitely echo back, will definitely come back to you. So, it's about what kind of, now that we know this, and now that we sit here thinking about our lives and thinking like, that's why I have some, difficulty in this area or difficulty in that area about finances, about relationship, about, honesty, like we were talking about the last time, right? About the virtues and things like that. So now we're sitting here and we're thinking, that's why I have all these problems because of something that I put out in the past is now coming back to me. Guess what? The same law works for the future, right? So whatever you send out now, when you get there 5 years, 10 years from now, the echo is going to come back and reach you again. And then you're going to be like, boom, I'm so lucky I was a good person 5 years ago. I'm so lucky. I didn't like have 65 girlfriends, I was loyal. I had one. Like now that you know it, you're going to be a good person, right?
Right.
Because everything you do gets echoed back to you. So, are you responsible? Are you the same person? You're always changing every day. And more of your past echoes are always coming back. And you're always creating future ripples as well. So when you get there to the future, those things are going to come back to you. So, it's very, very exciting.
So it comes to this, right? When you look at it. So some people would think that, because I have done something that is not so good in the past, all right? So I'm going to get that echo back now. So is there anything that I can do to minimize that?
Oh, of course.
Right?
Of course, So God is, I heard this from a very famous speaker. He was a famous comedian, Steve Harvey, right? And he's this guy who's made a ton of mistakes in his life. Really, but he's very famous now. He's very blessed, good family, good, very wealthy, and all these things, right? So he had a very profound statement. He said, I've never memorized the Bible. I've never memorized what God said to man. I don't know all these things. I'm not that good of a Christian. But one thing he did say, which really made sense, was that he's like, you know what? If you really seek the help of God, God is in the forgiving business. God takes, broken people, makes them whole. He takes, people who've made bad decisions, makes them into, good people. And God's in the forgiving business. So, like now we're sitting here. Master Cha said this as well, right? Master Cha said that there are two laws that supersede the law of karma. Now, the first one is the law of mercy and forgiveness, right? So by practicing mercy and forgiveness onto other people, guess what? Now, some of the stuff that's coming back to you may get reduced in intensity to a certain extent because mercy is being applied. Because you showed mercy to other people, so you've gained the entitlement of mercy, the karma credits of mercy, right? So that comes back together as well. Now, all the crap that you've done in the past, that I've done in the past, now when it's coming to hit me, like, it'll be like tapered down a little bit. Like, so I give you a story, right? One time, Master Chua was giving a bit of a discourse, a lecture, and there was one of his students in the class who had come to him, and this person was, he was a bit distraught because an astrologer or a clairvoyant or something like this had looked into his past life, and then told him that in your past life you were a soldier, a warrior, a samurai warrior, where his karma was he used to take his sword and stab people. That was his job, right? His job was to kill people with his sword.
Right.
So that karma of injury would undoubtedly follow him back into one of his future lives and come back again.
Mm-hmm.
So someone had told him this, and then he was a bit worried about it. So he had opened up to Master Chua and told Master Chua. Master Chua said, you know what, good karma, mercy and forgiveness, and good karma will always help you out in the future. It's better than any other solution in life, right? Better than praying to the gods and being like hiding at home and trying to be safe all the time. Any of these techniques, karma is the best one, right? Mm-hmm. So he said, what you do is you produce good karma, you generate good karma, and also you practice forgiveness and mercy. So undoubtedly, about a year later, this student, had a ruptured appendicitis. So if you know what this is, it's at the end of the colon. You have a little end of the colon, and sometimes it can burst due to stress or whatever reason. And it's super, super painful. It's really painful. People who have ruptured appendicitis, they actually like collapse on the ground. It's so painful, right? So what happened was, they rushed him to the hospital, and a surgeon cut him open and took out the ruptured area and then sewed him back up neatly, and then the surgery went really well and he was fine. So some days later or some weeks later, he had met Master Chua again, and Master Chua said, your karma is settled already.
All right.
So
he paid it in a very small.
Yeah, no, you cannot escape karma, right? You cannot, because you had stabbed people with a sword before. What is the karma? The karma is you also will be stabbed, right? But because he had generated mercy and forgiveness, what had happened was that he was also stabbed with a scalpel, so much smaller sword, but in the hands of a professional, in the hands of a surgeon, and for the purpose to save his life. So the karma is still there. The injury is still there. Going under surgery is still very painful for the body. The body still has to heal. The pain never went away, right? All that is there, but tapered down. The intensity very, very low, right? So, as compared to stabbing someone with a sword, with a scalpel, it's like, it's just a mosquito bite. Compared to what you have done in the past, this is a mosquito bite,
So there is a way actually to practice, to lessen our karma. I mean, we can't escape from it, but we can actually minimize it. We have, we have to pay a price for it, but maybe, it's not so detrimental.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So it comes also with a lot of merits that we collect over time. Yeah. Not only in mercy and forgiveness, but in a lot of services that we render out. Services that we help in charities, by effort, by money, monetary, and all that. I think that we collect that merit, and that will also help us, right?
That's a really good point, Liza. Like, amazing. Everyone during this period, I would say most people, majority of people during this period is going through some sort of difficulty, maybe financially, maybe relationship-wise, maybe they cannot have events, or they're single, they're looking for someone, or maybe they had a funeral and they cannot, have the family over. Everybody's going through some sort of unexpected challenge during this time, right? And like you said, just to find that compassion in your heart to say that the world is much bigger than me. Let me do like a charity. let me take, even though I only have very little, let me take a bit and still give somebody else like a breath of life, right? Somebody else one more day to survive. You know, that's a lot more meaningful than having $1 billion and saying like, okay, you know, I will just donate a little bit to one person. You know, that
Right.
I mean, you know, having a lot of money and donating, that's also very good. That's also very good. But it doesn't mean only rich people should do the charity, right? Even poor
Right.
people doing it sincerely, you still
Yeah.
earn that karma credits, right? It's not about the amount you give. It's about what's worth, what it was sacrificed by that person giving, by the donor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
With a pure intention, right?
yeah, you know, there's very, very amazing story that I remember all the time because this happens even today. So, you know, when they were running the World Pranic Healing Foundation, when they first started, they were doing all this charity, all these outreach programs, and you know, feeding the hungry, and you know, feeding the helping people with medical bills and things like that. So they had a donation arm where they were collecting donations, helping people to also funnel their donations to good causes, right? So when Master was doing this, he had entrusted one of his senior disciples to run the World Pranic Healing Foundation. And this person, you know, he said the foundation was in India. And, you know, this person, he said that, you know, Master, some people are donating only 10 rupees. Can we tell them not to donate? Because when they put the 10 rupee in the mail, and so 10 rupee, just for comparison, is about 80 cents Malaysia, right? It's about 80 cents Malaysia.
Okay.
So he said when they put the 10 rupees in the mail, they and then they put the mail in the post, and then it's collect, right? So when they receive the mail, they have to pay for it. So the charges are put on the other party, not on the one mailing, right?
Right.
And he said by the time they collect the mail, they do the admin work, the processing, the amount of staff required to do all these things. Actually, it cost them about 13 rupees on admin and postage costs to collect the donations, right? To collect and to verify and to send it up. The end to end, roughly per donation that they collect, you know, and then to send out like those donation receipts and things like that. It cost them about 13 rupees, which is about 1 ringgit, right? It cost them about 1 ringgit per donation just to manage the flow. So he said to Master, can we just ask them, maybe they can save the 10 rupees instead of donating it, you know, because it's costing us more money. They give us 10, but it costs us 13 to run the program. Like, you know, it's actually a loss for us to collect this small donation. And you know what Master Chua said? Master Chua said that, you know, for them to donate 10 rupees, you know how difficult it was? Because they probably earn only like 1,000 rupees. And from that 1,000, or maybe even less, maybe they only earn like 500 rupees. And for them to take out 10 rupees from their budget to think of someone else to give it, you know, it's more difficult. For a person earning like maybe 1 million rupees to take out like, you know, 1,000 rupees, it's not difficult, right? So in ringgit version, right? If you earn 100,000 ringgit and you want to donate 1,000, it's not too difficult.
Yeah.
But if you earn 1,000 ringgit and you want to donate like 10 ringgit, it is very, very hard. Right,
Yes.
because you're budgeting on
You're
supplies.
counting every cent of it. Yeah.
So Master said, you got to appreciate these people more. You know that they are giving so sincerely when they themselves don't actually have enough. It's not easy to live your life on 1,000 ringgit. You know, so you really have to budget a lot of things. Even rent today, like, you know, it goes up to a few hundred already. Your rent, your bills. How do you budget within 1,000 to take out another 10 ringgit? Like that's a great sacrifice. You know, the intention was very pure. So he said, even if it costs us money to process the donations, we'll do that, right? It's okay. We'll give them the good karma. We'll absorb the losses. That's what Master Chua said. Yeah.
Correct. That is really very good sharing, Sundar. I've not heard about this story before, but it's really touching to hear it. Yeah, because we know that there are many out there who can't afford, but they do their little bits at this time. Even now with COVID and all that, right? Many people are trying to help, even those, some of them who are earning not that much, but they are trying to do their bits also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and coming back to like, just to link this back to the topic, why are we talking about all this, right? When you sit down and you start to think about, like what Liza was saying, you know, about, am I responsible for the past? about the karma that's coming, the echo that's coming back. Okay, when you think about these things, and then you think about the future, what kind of future do you want to have, right? What kind of future would you like to create for yourself? And very easy to create the future, because if you send out good stuff echoes back. Very simple, right? Okay, so what kind of are you the same person? I would actually challenge the people listening today. Our topic was, are you the same person today as you were yesterday? My challenge to you is, are you going to be the same person next year as you are today? Or are you going to make something to change yourself, to produce the good karma of mercy, of forgiveness, of wealth, of health, of honesty, and in 5 years, you're going to get the good echo of this. My challenge to you is, are you going to be the same person next year or not?
For me, I would definitely like to be a better version of myself from today. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something. It's a challenge for us to look back, and see at what stage we are at current point. Are we doing what we need to do currently, so that in the future we have a better life, or in the future we are a better person, or in the future we are able to help a lot of more people. So it depends on what we really want in our life. So like I would
Exactly.
ask myself, right, what would I want in this current life, in this reincarnation? What would I want to achieve, right? So even when I was young, as just now I was sharing, even when I was young, I wanted to help, but I didn't know how to help. Yeah. So right now that we have learned a skill that we are able to help many. If you look at the testimonial that we have, doing our healing, even yourself, Sundar, we have helped many people, to heal, even psychologically, emotionally, and also physically. So this is also one help that we are helping. And we are doing, like, for example, the COVID healing that
Exactly.
we are volunteering to do. Yeah. This also we help many with a very positive result. So at the end of the day, regardless what you do, ask yourself, who I want to be, what I want to be in maybe 5 years. And that is a very good question and very famous question for people who goes for interview.
Yeah.
They will
Right,
ask you,
right.
they will ask you, what you look okay to be in 10 years time.
Yeah.
you know
Where do you see
so
yourself, right? Where do you see
where do you
yourself
see
in 5
yourself
years?
in 10 years time? What is your plan? How do you plan to achieve that? So it's the same thing. If in interviews we ask candidates how they look at their life, it's the same thing that we are looking at our life the same way, right?
Yeah.
In 10 years time, where we want to be? Are we contented to be how we are today?
Exactly.
Right? Emotionally, maybe with family, with things that is always a constant change. Yeah. When we start changing, then things around us start changing, right? So when we move forward, things around us move forward, and we actually is like we are like a vacuum. When we change, the things are being vacuumed together with us. That's what I felt. Yeah, that's what I felt in my life. Things are just vacuumed in, and with the kids, with with my mom and my husband, things are just being vacuumed together. And if you look, the other day I was just talking to my best friend. I said, my mom changed so much, since the day I've taken up pranic healing and with twin heart meditation. My mom changed even without her wanting to change.
Magic.
Yes.
It's really miraculous, right?
this is something that I see, really happening in my own life. You my mom used to be a person who looks at, she's very critical of everything, right? Everything there is a say to it, and then there is always a negativity to everything. Even if you buy grocery bag, then she say, "Why do you buy so many grocery? The fridge doesn't have any place. Everything has, everything to it, lah." So
God bless
now,
her.
but now, miraculously, when you buy things back, she would just look at it. Okay, shall we put it here? Shall we put it there? She did not complain at all. Yes. And she did not do Twin Heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the energy of the house changed, right?
Yeah, the energy of the house. So the minute we make a decision that we want to change, the vacuum will happen.
Exactly.
Everything will be vacuumed to how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you brought up like some really good points there. Like when employers ask, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Or sometimes you go to a motivational seminar and they ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Right.
And then how you're going to get there. A lot of people make that plan, but they never actually think about the invisible law of karma. We all know it exists, but we don't really know like how to use it. And I think like, pranic healing was really good at explaining that for me. It was one of my favorite topics. When you take the very first course. Oh, this is something, just now we were saying like how magical it is with the household improvement. The first book of pranic healing, Master Tra actually called it the ancient art and science of pranic healing. Right? That was the title of the book, the ancient art and science of pranic healing. But because over the years, after so many miraculous recoveries, so many miraculous events, like exactly what's happening in your house as well, a lot of them urged Master Tra to change the title of the book. It's now called The Miracles Through Pranic Healing.
Yeah, it's actually a miracle because we are facing a lot of.
It's really what it is, right?
Experiencing a lot of miracle in our life.
Really. So and I really think what you're doing is amazing. When you said you did volunteering healing work at the healing pods as well for COVID patients.
Yeah.
And so if you guys listening, if you know someone who is a COVID patient that needs a bit of help with healing, boost their immune system, their energy in their body, just reach out to us. Let us know. We'd be happy to help them. Okay, it's a service. Yeah, it's a service we're doing for everyone. Okay, because the service is, just to let you guys know, it's not something that we just like pray and ask for blessings. No, it actually involves quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, the healing protocol for the coronavirus, so it's not something that we just do by thought or by imagination. There's actually a step-by-step protocol involved.
Yes.
And this protocol takes about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. It depending on how serious the patient is. If they are in ICU, I think we did about an hour and a half. Yeah. Sometimes it takes nearly 2 hours if he's really congested. Yeah.
Exactly.
So these are the efforts.
Yeah, it has to be done every day. So it takes multiple healers to manage one patient. It's so we're offering this service and we're not charging for it. It's not just like asking for blessings, right? So, but the reason I brought this up is because if you think about it, when someone says, where will you be 10 years from now? Right? If you're a young person, usually if you're starting to apply for a job, you never think about health, right? You never think that, I hope I still stay in good shape. You just think about, your goals and how you're going to get there, right? But if you're slightly older, you start to realize that health is wealth, right? No matter how much money you can earn in the world, you can never buy health, You can buy medicine, but it's not the same as buying health, So what is the good way to have good health? What's a good way to ensure you have good health in the future? Is by helping other people right now, by planting the seeds of helping other people heal. So in pranic healing, we're blessed with this opportunity as well. So if you decide to take a pranic healing for yourself, you also have this opportunity to help heal people. And what you do is that by helping people have good health, what's the karma you produce? is that in the future you will be protected and you will have good health, right? So
Correct.
that's one way that pranic healing already helps you with certain aspects.
Yeah.
And health is one thing that really no amount of money, no amount of books, no amount of intelligence can buy for you. It's something that's God given freely, and we just have to take care of it, man. Produce the good karma to take care of
Yeah,
this.
if you have billions and billions, if you don't have the health to even enjoy it, so what's the point of having that? You can't bring that, over to
Yeah.
the other side, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly the same thing. I remember there was a story sharing by Master Ko where he was flew to heal a billionaire, right? Is billionaire, So he was thinking like, my God, this guy is living in a mansion. What is there that that he need healing for? He's perfectly fine. He was not having any physical ailment. So at the end of it, when he had to answer some questionnaire, right? So he mentioned a word which I forgot what it was. But it turned out to be he is missing of a service that the service that he feels that if he connect this to this, it gives him a pleasure, the satisfaction. So with all the money that he has, and one missing parcel in his life was just to give service.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where I think if we could complete our life, complete our whole puzzle, where you are able to earn, you are able to also have a good relationship, you are able to enjoy the good relationship, and you are able to be of service. I think that would complete the whole puzzle in our life. I mean, that is for me,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a very good talk. That's a very good sharing from Sundar. I enjoyed that very much. I think our timing is also up for today.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll continue again next week. Thank you so much.
We will continue next week, and everyone keep safe. Though the numbers are going up, but do keep safe. Do your part. And take care. Yep.
Okay. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Atma namaste.
Good night. Atma namaste.